Because speaking of WWE, it seems as if Mercedes Monè, formerly known as Sasha Banks, was previously talking to WWE about a potential deal, and those talks fell through. It also seems as if Mercedes Monè has signed with All Elite Wrestling. Once again, these are rumors. Nothing is confirmed. We don't have no Mercedes Monè is All Elite graphic. If this is true, how do you feel about Mercedes Monè going to All Elite Wrestling?
Well, first, I want to say I don't believe it because I'm going off of Jade and CM Punk with all these bullshit news, and everyone just ends up in the E. So I feel like they're trying to tease us so people will pay attention to the Royal Rumble, but she may or may not even show up then. She might even show up after. That's my prediction at least. It'd be really dope if she did show up at the Rumble, but I feel like they're teasing us. Because why would you push that news out that like y'all couldn't afford her, knowing damn well y'all could afford her, and you guys are like basically like at the highest you possibly could be in your company. You got Cody, you got CM Punk, LA Knight's on the rise. The Bloodline storyline is amazing. It's just you got Dusai and Jade. Like you have so many people to work with. We have such a fun full roster now. And again, like they're really knocking out the park this year. So it's just like if you got Mercedes. First of all, let me wind back real quick. If I was Mercedes, I would think it's way fun to be over there. I already know how this company moves. I already know that Vince is not in the way anymore. I know that I get to deal with Daddy Trips, so it might just feel a little bit different. And that
Daddy Trips.
yeah, Big Papa Trips. But I would know that since I'm coming back, things are going to have to be different. Because now I'm coming back with some more value and entitlement. Just because I showed you guys that I'm money in a different continent, bitch. Like I'm international. Don't you fuck with me. So why would you not want to pay her what she wants, knowing damn well every time Sasha Banks comes back, she gets the craziest pop. She might have the craziest pop next to Punk. Who knows? But if she came to AEW, it's not that it's impossible or far-fetched. It's just that there's still so much cleaning up to do with that women's division that it's just like it's a risk. But Mercedes is a risk taker. So while I don't want to see her there because I would prefer if they tighten up that women's division and then put her in, I feel like her being her and her impact on the women's division while she was in WWE or her impact when she was in Japan. I could see her wanting to like take like a dominant leader role where she kind of facelifts the whole entire division on her own. And like she did the impossible. Like Kenny couldn't do it when he was leading them. Whatever the fuck Tony was doing wasn't working. I forgot who's leading them now. But I could see her posing the idea that like, all right, if you're gonna have me here, you're gonna pay me X amount, but I get to have creative control on what we're doing here because this looks like an abomination and I'm not gonna stand for this shit with my name attached to it. So it has potential because she's there. I would just hate for it to fall stale. But if I had to choose, I actually would love it if she went back to the E. But what do you think?
Funny thing is, I actually agree with you. I think that the sheets are being worked, and I think that we're going to probably see Mercedes slash Sasha in WWE. She filed 3 new trademarks as well. Monè Talks, I think Monè Wears, and something else. But I also believe that we are now in an age where, they've talked about it that Triple H is going to be, this is the first time Triple H is in full creative control of the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania this year. And so this is the first time he's creatively in full creative control. And we know when Hunter is in full creative control, that man is just as outside the box as anyone in this business can be. So I wouldn't be surprised if someone like Hunter is like, we're just going to like put up some smoke and mirrors and we're going to finesse and see Mercedes eventually land in WWE again. If she's in AEW, I wouldn't mind that either. We heard Tony at the World's End press conference say that he's going to be very, very active during free agency, which we already saw shades of that this past episode of Dynamite, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see her back in WWE. Tangent. And this is not just because I have unmedicated ADHD. You spoke about the AEW women's division. And it was so funny because I think you retweeted a video about Britt Baker. And Britt Baker was like, listen, we have loud, passionate fans. And they said they wanted to see less Britt Baker on their screens. So I stepped back and then they were like, well, how do you feel about the women's division now? It's just like, well, you tell me. I would just want to say, Britt, I'm so sorry because you're right. I'm not going to even lie. You're right. The fans didn't want to see as much as you. You fell back. And now it's kind of rough. Like, I'm not going to lie. And so I apologize. At one point, I thought it was like Britt was on some like, she's complaining. Nah. She knows she got the juice. She knows she can step back in front at any point in time. She just doesn't want to because the fans said, nah, we don't want you here or we don't want you as much. So she stepped back and now, so I just had to address that. Britt, we are sorry. I'm never questioning you, Ben, because
seriously,
you was spitting. You was spitting. You was right.
It's been flat-lying since she left. I kind of miss her with the mic.
Literally. So
I'll take it.
But as back to Mercedes, I think she's gonna land up in the E. But either way, I'm gonna support her wherever she goes. But speaking of Sasha Banks / Mercedes Monè,